I'm going to continue painting on this board. I am almost done with it. I'm going to do a little bit of detail right now because it's right here in front of me. So this is just what leftover white I had in and actually I'll probably get a cooler tone if I do it from here. A little bit too runny, so I'm gonna try to thicken it up just a little bit. That should be better. And I can be a little messy with this. In fact, if I get my other brush and the brush is just clean, I should just be able to go back over and blend in whatever I mess up. So I'm just going to try to crank out some quick details on this. Nothing too crazy, just kind of getting this white on the skulls and skeletons that are all over this. And really all that's going to do is help the skulls, the details pop when I oil wash it. So and I'm really just doing like a easy little overbrush. I'm not trying to make sure every, single little detail gets hit. Just gonna try to change its color a little bit from its background, and then so then when the wash hits it, it will it'll blend it back in, but it'll stand out because it won't be that same green that's back there. And the other thing that is happening is the green from underneath is being reawakened, so so it is kind of just turning a kind of bluish color to white, but that's fine. Like I said before, it's just to get me some little details in here without too much difficulty. or too much work. So, and I did grab a little bit smaller of a brush to be able to do this with. The one I was using before was really difficult to use. Just doing a quick little spots of details on this piece. Help to pick them out, help them make them look a little more prominent. That is the other beauty of like the GW pieces. There's so much detail on them. So it can just be a lot of work to go back through and detail all this stuff. Especially if like every piece of it, I mean, look how much surface space this takes up. How much surface space that takes up for how much detail it has. It's pretty crazy. Just going through and picking out these little figures and the skulls with some white, but the white is reawakening this paint beneath it because it's basically like a super slow dry acrylic, I guess would be the best way to put it. Water-based oils is what it is marketed as. But so far I'm liking this palette that I'm using. I'm basically restricting myself only to these. So I do have a limited palette. It is a brighter palette than I probably would have chosen if I were just grabbing acrylic paints and doing this with acrylic paints. But that's fine. It will make this Necromunda terrain look a lot more like Cyberpunk, and I am okay with that. I finally got my cool other batch of flat black spray paint in, and it's raining again outside, so luckily I primed a few of these when it was sunny out before I ran out of spray paint, so I do have some of these to work with. I'm going to try to push this stream a little bit longer. Maybe even get this piece done to the point of it just really needing to dry. So I'll probably end up taking a break in the middle of it. Depending on how much noise I hear from coming above me, I might have to take a break sooner than later. What is going on up there? The Underhive is a strange place. Look at me just put my arm right in the way of what I'm painting. So yeah, you can see the detail. Put some here. I'm trying to brace myself because I can't really brace off of the piece of terrain because it's all wet right now. But not bad. Messed up there a little bit. This is how I'll fix it. Let's take a kind of a clean brush. And kind of blend the light. Where I messed up with the white, that could just become a bit of a highlight. Finish this without messing it all up. A couple more here. Sorry, every time I talk, I feel like I wiggle a little bit, so it's making it harder for me to do the brush strokes while I speak. So I'm just gonna punch in those little details. Okay, cool. Looks like I got all the little skulls and fiddly bits done. So I do want to mix myself up some more of this yellow ochre. With some of this white. See if I can't get like, it's basically like a khaki, dark khaki, if you will. And I think I'm just going to hit a few of these pipes with it. Maybe this wiring here. I'm not really trying to do anything crazy. I'm just trying to get like a little bit of a base coat on it so that it will stand out a little bit more when I put the oil washes on it. So So this is a little bit more of a transparent consistency for this right now, as opposed to very thick. Do this guy right here as the yellow as well. And then this guy right here. I think I might do this whole wire harness because I'm starting with a yellow, which is one of the colors that is the most easily overwhelmed by another color. So if I put some red in there, I can make them kind of orangish red. For example, I got a little bit of this rusty orange I was using before. Let's see what happens when I kind of just blend those two together, see what happens. Go with a little white too, only from this side. Blend that down. Give me some more of that orange. I'll get the back a little bit with it. Blam. Easy peasy. So, we're gonna keep on with that. We're gonna get this pipe here. And we're gonna get Thomas Brock Hastings. Hey, what up, Thomas? What a difference a little of paint will do to drain. Yeah, what up, Matthew? Yes, the paint definitely brings it together. In fact, I feel like the priming, once you've zenithal highlighted it, it kind of, starts to take on its own life. As opposed to just being junk, it really starts to be revealed to everybody once you've primed it. I feel like when you're building it, you kind of have to have a little bit of that vision to begin with. So I'm just gonna try to give this just a little highlight. Nothing serious, just enough that I don't really have to mess with it later, and I can hit everything with a wash and be good with it. Okay, the only thing I think I need to do is I need to hit a few things with this blue that I missed. posts could have been blue. There is some plates of stuff up here on the top that I'm going to get with blue, just to pick them out from the other things. Again, this is going to get washed really good, so all of this is going to get toned down. I think that's pretty good, besides maybe a little bit of red for some wiring. So, I don't know if I've used this straight red, really. It's very red. It's a very bright red. So. These details are quite a pain in the butt. A lot of times I'll just leave things kind of the zenithal gray and then change the color with some transparent washes, as opposed to trying to get every little detail. But I want to push this medium, this paint, and see where it shines and where it doesn't. So far it's pretty difficult to do detail with. It's very easy to do shade a big blob or a big area with it, like this whole section shading worked really well, but doing this little red wire thing, that's a pain in the butt. So let's do some more. And I'm gonna have to say that wire is gonna be a pain in the butt, whether I did it with this medium or a different kind of paint. It's really how it was built and how the access to it is gonna be difficult. That's why normally I'd probably just leave it whatever prime color. But I'm liking this really like oversaturated color thing I got going on with this right now. I am very interested to see how it tones down with the oil wash. I am curious to see if the oil wash, if the white spirits awakens any of this paint, like washes any of it away. Even I am gonna let it dry for a while, but you never know. So go ahead and change the color of these guys. try to give it a little bit of a highlight. I think I got some wires sticking out on this side, and I feel like the red might pop really nicely. Definitely gives it an interesting look. It's that whole effect of like a transparent color over another color. It's very difficult to paint, you know, in there though, because all of this stuff is wet, and normally everything would be rock solid dry by now, so that is the downside. It might be worth doing a portion of it up and then just setting the whole piece aside and working on another piece, but it hasn't been too much of an uphill battle with that, and I actually like the fact I can kind of go back and, oh, I messed up here. I can blend that mess up back in. Good. I'm going to grab a little bit of white. Kind of give it a little bit of highlight there. Not bad. I did miss this piece here. Didn't get any paint, but that's fine. It will be covered up by the wash. And then at the very top here didn't get anything, and I might cover that with blue right now. Yeah. Just gonna reawaken this blue in this palette here and paint something that is out of scene for you. Give me 1 second. What? There you go. Should have just enough paint to cover this. And also, I am not opposed to going back after this stuff all dries and hitting it with some, you know, doing some details with some regular acrylics. Ones that I actually have like black in and can shade things down. But this is an interesting challenge, and I kind of like it. It's It's a restricted palette, and I don't have, the darkest color I have is this blue. Or that red, maybe. Okay, almost done with that. Okay. Just gotta do a little highlight on that. And it'll be perfect. That's some sort of. But so decent little shading job up on that. So I feel like it's good besides these chunks of, like, I need like a dirt color. So I'm just gonna mix everything together and see what happens. See if I can't get a dirt color out of me cleaning the palettes into each other. Got a green brown going. Give me some more of this red. It kind of turned into like a green brown. Even with that red. It's not bad. It's not my favorite color I've ever mixed up. It kind of looks like baby diaper throw up, but that's perfect for the ground, right? Sure. I'm gonna definitely use it more like a wash just to start getting different colors into the This also might wake up some of this other paint down below. So I don't know how much it will change. I feel like adding some red to it. A little bit of an oranger. Gonna kind of stipple this. In. I don't mind if it gets splattered kind of everywhere. That'll just be like the dirt itself getting everywhere, whatever it is. The crazy amount of dust. I can only imagine how much dust falls down on people's heads in the Underhive. Like, I'm working in the Underhive right now, and every time somebody just so much as scoots in their chair up above me, it comes tumbling down. Never thought I'd have to vacuum the ceiling. Try to get a little bit of yellow ochre in there too. Definitely more water. Messing with browns right now, mixing all these paints together in various quantities to see what colors I can come up with, just for putting some base color down on this. I'm just pretty much smashing this anywhere there was some texture. And again, I will achieve more variety of colors when I do the washes. This is just really to blank out any of the spaces that are still just zenithal primed, and to tone it down just a little bit, because we got some really bright colors going on. So having some like muted, not so nice looking colors in there too help keep it look like grimy and grody, like the Underhive should. Bam. Okay. Out of that paint. So now this thing is quite wet, so I might just move on to another piece and move this over to let it dry. Okay, I'm gonna go put this by the fans and take myself a quick break and grab myself ice cold water, take the sweater off. I'll be back momentarily to start work on another piece. All right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. Definitely warmer down here than it is up there. So I'm gonna start working on this one. Should be a quick and easy paint. I'm gonna rinse my palette out real quick. Good enough. Okay, so we're gonna whip through this one real quick. I think I'm gonna go with the blue. We're gonna start with that one. Scoot this back a little bit, maybe show you guys. Tilt it down, it's not such a big thing. So you can see kind of my palette, what I'm working with. Yeah, that water looks very bad, that's fine. These colors can all mix together and make kind of a ruddy version of this blue. I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with having a very thinned out version of the blue because I got quite a bit to cover, because I'm going to pretty much do the whole outside of this thing in blue. And I think I'm going to say that the light source is coming from this side. It'll be easy to remember because there's a lamp right there. So then I'll just shade all of these like there's light shining from that side. Which means my darkest side is going to be over in this corner, and that's where I'm going to start with this darkest shade of blue once I get it mixed up. And some of this paint is like dry and some of it isn't. So we're going to try to mix the paint that's still alive back in. And if I get a bunch of like shards of busted paint pigment floating around in there, I don't mind it. Not for Necromunda terrain, at least. It probably wouldn't be that good if you were painting somebody's portrait, but here's my blue, kind of green color. I'm going to cover 90% of this. And I'm gonna do kind of a different technique. Whoops. I'm gonna try to make the pigment run down a little bit. We'll see how well that works. It will make it look like kind of washed out. hit this top lip too. Just to give us pigment on that as well. Then I'm going to start working my way around. The light is going to be coming from this corner, so I'm going to highlight to that corner. So I'm going to do this side first. I'm going to do this one a little bit different than the one I just painted or the one that I was just working on. I'm going to have this be more of a one color with just some little highlight colors on it, or with just little blobs of other color on it, as opposed to it being like 3 big colors. And really, I'm just going to do that to simplify the painting of it. It's a much more simple building. I might try to do some cool lighting effect from this using the same technique. But other than that, I'm not going to really, I don't think so. We're just going to keep going with this blue just to get kind of a base. Get the building back behind here colored in. I think that's 90% of this build, so. Funny too, normally I like to use like a bit of color in my stuff anyways, and now I'm kind of being forced to only use color, and I find it irritating. It's actually cracking me up a little. So again, I'm just trying to get as much of this blue as I can on this building, and then I'll go back through and start lightening it up, shading it a bit. But right now, we're just on the long slog of base coating this whole thing, basically. Great part about this is that really one coat is all it needs, so anywhere down below where it's going to be in shadow, or I'm probably not going to hit it when I do any highlights, as long as I just get one coat of it on there, it'll tinted enough that it will look like a shadowed version of the hopefully, at least that's my plan. Still got this side to do. I do really like the way the transparent, like when you're using a transparent paint, how you can change the way that it translates by what you put underneath it. So for example, the classic zenithal highlight with transparent paint over the top of it, that it's actually similar to what I'm doing right here with having this blue so watered down and having put this magenta and teal kind of chromatic zenithal, as Doom and Apathy calls it. That's where I stole it from. That's who gave me the idea. Check out his stuff. He paints minis using the same bit priming technique, or a similar one. Well, his version, I stole it from him. So however he does it, he's probably a more effective way. Because I just thought it was cool and thought it might add to terrain building, painting terrain, making it a little bit easier. So Doom and Apathy on Instagram, go check his stuff out. He'll do it better. But I really like how the blue over the magenta makes a darker purpley color, and the blue over the teal makes a green. It's a fun way to kind of pre-program your piece to have different value aspects based on what color you used. up here too before I run out. What is going on? Okay. Not bad. I'm gonna keep going until I almost run out of this paint. Because there's a lot of stuff here. And I know I'm gonna miss some. Cool. I'm digging it. So I'm going to take a little bit of white. Just going to go from the corner that I said the light is from. I'm going to start bringing in the mid-tones. I don't care if we get messy down in here in this kind of shaded area. It will just make it look that much more ruined and distraught. So, got a little bit more white. Start back over here. Give me an idea where the light is hitting on there. Bring in some of those mid-tones over here. Light tones. Do the same thing up here. just give us different patterning on the piece itself, hopefully also giving us an idea of where the light is coming from as well. Missed the side of this ladder, so you're gonna have to go back and fix that. And if you gotta fix anything, just go back with your dark tone, mash it in there a little bit. The highlight to that edge. Just a spot down here, so I'm going to try to just get some of this dark tone back up in here. And then try to give a little edge highlight back there. That. Got this white, so let's just go a little crazy with this light, this highlight here. Cool. I do think I'm gonna go with whatever midtones I can come up with. Let's put a little shading on this back here. And all this is really doing is just adding a little bit more patterns on there. Keep blending this white a little bit more so it's not so drastic. Not bad. Pretty smooth, pretty easy. I'm gonna just work this highlighting a little bit more where I can. just to make it pop a little bit more. That's all. The only reason I'm doing a little bit extra is because doing this technique saves me time. I coated that whole thing and it has just I could have just left it at its runny self and it would have looked fine. But if I do a little bit extra highlighting with it, it'll pay off. Use that extra time to add a little bit more detail back into it. It will definitely pay off. Again, about 90% of this piece is this one little chunk of building. So most of it is going to be this color. Hence the reason doing a little bit extra for the highlight is a good idea. Cool. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and hop off, let this thing dry for a little bit, come back to it, do some of the tiling, put in a few more colors, but it's probably just going to be the green for the tiling and some browns for the dirt and maybe some reds. I don't know. I only have a few colors, so it'll be the same palette. Definitely going to do the teal for the flooring. Maybe red pipes. Maybe do some like neon. Try to get as green, bright green as I can go on that. But I think that's it for now. Thank you all for joining me. I will do another short stream later this evening. Probably about 7 o'clock Eastern, like 7 o'clock New York time. So I'll catch you guys then. Peace.